In Chicago, we don't just have winter. We have days where the air literally chills you to the bone. And on those days where it falls below freezing or even into those super frigid single digit or negative temperatures, there's one thing that I reach for, and its nickname is the Beast. Welcome back to another Dave Sam review. Today we are talking about my absolute favorite winter jacket. And when I say winter jacket, I mean for that frigid cold. It's not something you could just wear every single day in the winter. I guess depends on where you live, but not in Chicago. This is the Relwen Arctic Parka, aka the Beast. Now they call it the Beast not because you wear it to pumpkin patches and out in the city, but because it is 7 pounds of pure trench coat superiority. This thing is legitimately designed for some of the worst conditions on the planet. Today, we're gonna be breaking down why this is, I think, among the legendary winter jackets, some of the specs that make it one of my go-to items in the deep winter, and finally, one slightly annoying quirk that we do need to discuss before you drop your money on it. Now, to understand this jacket, and maybe even Relwen a little bit, you have to understand the history and where they come from. Relwen based this model on the M47 extreme cold weather parka that was issued to the US military during the Korean War. And like I mentioned, this thing is 7 pounds, and I mean that literally. You feel this when you grab it, and you definitely feel it when you are wearing it. Now, in the deep winter, to me, it feels like the nicest, warmest gravity blanket that you could put on your body and then leave and go out of your house and get that nice, warm, cozy feeling, even when you're in some of the deepest, darkest temperatures out here in Chicago, or, you know, anywhere maybe further north than this, where you have even deeper cold or more days of deep cold. And just to give you a sense of what it looks like on. I'm not gonna wear it for too long while I'm in the house because it's just really warm. I'm gonna start sweating here in a second, but nice multi-pocket design here. One of my favorite things about this overall, it goes all the way to the knee. So put up, zipped up, nice big coat, long coat here where it's super windy. Having something that covers your thigh is critical to your warmth. That's what it looks like on. Now let's talk a little bit about the shell and the interior. We're looking at this shell. This material is like a heavy grade, water resistant nylon. Feels like that really nice nylon that you might have on like a water resistant jacket or a really nice water resistant backpack. That's made out of this nylon material or something similar. This is a bit softer than what you might find on a backpack. Still has that abrasion resistance, still has that water resistance, just in a softer format or in a softer weave. Secondarily now, if you go to the inside of the jacket, you have this like faux fur teddy bear lining that is just incredibly soft to the touch. Even just wearing like a t-shirt under this or anything, this feels so nice on your body and still maintains such incredible warmth. And if you look at now the hardware across this, you know, really premium hardware features here. So this is a close-up of kind of the belt clip. We'll talk about the belt here in a second. When you look at the zipper here, really nice. Looks like a number, I would say like a number 8, maybe number 10 zipper. So really nice and thick. Same on the inside here. You've got this nice thick zipper. Not quite a number 8 or 10. It's probably more like a 4 or 5 here, but interior pocket, no problem. On the outside, you have 2 types of pockets here. So one deep pocket that is more like a regular pocket, I would say. Great for gloves, great for anything larger that you're going to be holding on to. And then up above, like closer kind of to your rib cage area here, you've got these 2 angled pockets, which have like they don't quite have like a fur lining, but they do have like this soft touch kind of wool lining, if you will, which is really nice if you're barehanded. These pockets, this material on the outside, as well as the lining, just keep you incredibly warm. Next, and I'm not gonna take this apart all the way, but just to show you or give you a sense here, this is kind of a 2-in-1 jacket. So you have the outside, like I mentioned, the nylon, and if you start unclipping it, you have this nice addition to the liner here, or you have access to just wearing the liner here, which is really nice in variable weather. Okay, so a couple of things that I love, like I mentioned, like I use a little bit of a t-shirt test here, or just kind of like a long shirt, if you will, but not necessarily a sweater. My winter jackets, if they can support me in that, in deep cold weather, they are serious winter jackets. It's kind of the way that I think about it. So this one absolutely passes the test. It's honestly sometimes hard not to sweat in this if I wear it, if it's just a little bit too warm. You know, if it gets into like 30-degree temperature, 35-degree temperature, you know, I'm usually walking around with the zipper opened, flapping around, because it is building up quite a lot of heat. Now, when it is 0 degrees outside Fahrenheit, this thing still keeps me incredibly warm. There are times that I'm still sweating in it, but I'm not going to walk outside and hit that sweat point right away. Second thing I just absolutely love, I've been talking about kind of some of the technical details here. This thing is full-on tank on the outside with this nylon, teddy bear on the inside, which, if I'm being honest, like gives you that full experience, that nice 2-in-1 experience. It also doesn't scream tech. I think I personally see some of it on the wall, right? I tend to lean towards a lot of things that are very utilitarian, very tech forward. I think this can be worn not just in variable weather, but also with variable wardrobe. It can dress up and dress down. And when I show up with this, even in really nice places, if the weather supports it, nobody's gonna bat an eye. All right, third thing that I really like about this, which I'm gonna be really honest here, I did not think I was gonna like it all. Kind of looks weird, but it met so many of my other criteria that I bought the jacket anyway, is the belt that I've been talking about, right? So when you're wearing it, you can buckle this belt here. When you're wearing it, you can buckle the belt, comes right on the middle of your waist, and I'll show you what that looks like here, which honestly is nice for 2 reasons. One, like I said, sometimes it's a little too warm. I want to zip the zipper, but it can still maintain just a little bit of closure with the belt here, or I could zip it all the way up and go for the full belt. Like I mentioned, this is just incredibly warm. These pockets are also really deep, just to be clear. They go under the belt. I don't know if you can kind of see my fingers end just about there. Now, fourth, and this one goes, I think, just like not unknown, but it's never really talked about for men's coats. So many of our coats are in the bomber style, or maybe just below the waist here is where a lot of them end. Having something that goes all the way to the knee in length is so nice. I see this in women's coats all the times, right? You see something that is super long, which is really great for them. You see things that have fur-lined hoods, which again keeps them super warm. And then you see things that have accents like belts and things like that. Men's coats, very few of them support all of those features. So having them in one package honestly makes this kind of the ultimate coat to me. You know, we've been talking a lot about the materials, like even these cuffs here are super premium, really nice, really long too, as you can see here. So even have the ability to like fold them over if you need to, or something like that, to just make them even a little bit tighter. But I find them to be really nice and tight. Basically sit something like that, more or less, right? Like you can tuck it up, tuck it down, but more or less sit right around here when I am wearing the Arctic Parka. Let's talk a little bit about temperature ranges. So like I mentioned, the whole package gets you pretty deep. If you're wearing just the nylon exterior, you can probably go out in around freezing weather. It's not going to be comfortable. You'll probably still be a tad cold. You know, you might want to be more in that like 35 plus weather. But you can definitely do it. You can definitely go a little bit lower, especially if you got like a long sleeve or a sweater underneath. With the interior lining, that's going to support pretty warm weather. It's going to be kind of a severe shift or drop, right? So if you're just wearing the interior lining, you can probably put it on somewhere around the 20 to 25 degree range and be really comfortable. If you're above that, I could see it being pretty warm actually. just again, considering how much layering is in that. When you have the whole package together, it doesn't quite add up in the same way because one of them adds the windproofing really well, one of them adds the thermal lining really well, and then putting them together, your thermal lining is just like kind of through the roof. So I have worn this we've had like the polar vortex here in Chicago, so I've had this for almost 2 years, or this is the second winter that I've had it. We've had desperately cold days here where it gets to like -20, -30 with the wind chill. Putting this on, it is certainly cold outside, and I feel that rush of wind, that rush of air that hits my face and, the more exposed areas. But wearing this maintains my warmth. It allows my body to continue to warm up my kind of personal sphere within the jacket. And that is, again, second to none. I have yet to go to an area where this jacket has not supported me in the deepest weather. All right, there is one issue that I do want to talk about because it's not even really an issue. It's just kind of an annoyance when you wear it. So, especially when you got the whole thing done up with the belt, you are pretty snug in there, or, I am at least. I am just under 6 foot and about 192 to 193 pounds. When you have it snug on and you're not wearing like a shirt that's tucked in of any kind, there's quite a lot of friction created by this material against any kind of like cotton or anything that creates kind of static friction of any kind. So with that in mind, right? When you're wearing this, you're fully cinched up. As you're walking, there's a tendency for like your shirt to start to ride up a little bit, and it does keep going and going and going until your back is exposed, right? So like until it's like pretty crumpled up if you don't pull it down. I would say for like every mile walked, it will come up about 6 to 8 inches. So it's not insignificant in how much it comes up. However, it's also not a deal breaker. Like for me, it's pretty easy for me to like tuck a shirt in and just put this on, or just kind of adjust as I go if I need to. It is well worth it for the cold that it supports, or the level of cold that it supports. And again, just incredibly comfortable and fun to wear. It looks great when it's on, and when you're out and you got a backpack, you're doing whatever, right? This is honestly one of my favorite pieces of gear that I procured in quite a while, especially in terms of my wardrobe, more so than, pieces of tech or bags or, things I'm putting in my pockets. This is one of those things that I think like I'm so happy I spent the money on. And speaking of the cost or the money here, let's just take a quick look. So the Arctic Parka is not cheap. It is right on the border of $900 after taxes, shipping, all those things. You'll definitely pay more than $900. It's possible that you'll find it on sale somewhere. This one in particular, I bought from a boutique in Seattle, if I remember correctly. They shipped it here. I wasn't like there or anything, but the Relwen website was out for a couple of months. All the boutiques that I knew that sold Relwen gear didn't have it. So I jumped on it and bought it. I bought it at full price. Without question, I would buy it again, knowing what I know now. All right, I think we know who this jacket is for, the people who live in those extreme weather or extreme cold conditions. If you need something, if you're already evaluating $1,000 jackets, this has to be on your list of jackets to evaluate. It is just, again, the best jacket I've owned. I've owned things from Canada Goose, from Pajar, from North Face, from Patagonia, from like you name it. I have had so many variations of jackets. I personally think, in a place like Chicago where the weather is beautiful and hot and humid in the summer and then desperately cold in the winter, you need to have so many things to support that variation in weather. For me, I like to go with jackets. I think that this thing is perfect because I live in one of the most extreme cold weather areas in the nation. Who this is not for, though, there's basically 40 states in the lower 48 for whom you probably aren't going to want to buy this jacket. You're just for real going to be so too warm if you don't have temperatures that go probably like below, I would say 20 at the very least, maybe 25. If you're not in those sub-freezing temperature ranges or even in those sub-zero ranges, you know, this is going to be a really, really expensive coat that you're not going to be able to wear that frequently, or you're going to feel like you're constantly overheating them. It's expensive, it's heavy, it hikes your shirt up, and I would buy it 10 times over to support the Chicago winter, the polar vortexes that we get here. I would buy it with a big smile on my face. I love wearing the Beast. It is probably my favorite item that hangs in our closet, at least for me. I'm sure my wife would have different comments on it. And speaking of comments, let me know what you think of the Beast down below. If there's other winter coats that you think meet those criteria of length, high quality materials, fur lining, I would love to hear about them. I maybe will try them out myself. So if you've got any of those, or if you've got other comments, please drop them below. While you're down there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, get notified for more videos from your boy, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.